Everybody, happy Wednesday. Here with the Citizen Council crew, Perry and Brandi and Chris. How's it going,
Hello,
guys?
everybody.
Perry, you look like you're in a cloud.
Yeah. Not quite as clear of a day today.
It's not. It was like sunny till about an hour ago, and then it just stopped. Although you probably have had fog at your place for quite a while. Man, it's cold. I just made some apple cider. It's not even cold, though. It's just like I was in shorts and t-shirt and I thought it was warm, and then I got really cold. Oh, yeah, you're in out there in Fairview with all the fair weather.
Yep.
Isn't that
on the other side of the
interesting?
mountains?
All the microclimates we have.
Oh, yeah. Every mountain range produces a different little weather ecosystem. It's really cool.
Yeah. Even just between me and my neighbors, I have more trees, and I think it filters out some of the fog. And then they just like get blasted with the misty wind. It's horrible.
Maybe, yeah.
So anyways, so today I think we're going to talk about a fancy thing called civil exclusion zones. I was listening to the scanner, the police scanner, for a couple hours the other day, and they ran somebody's name, and it came back that he was, I think they used the word expelled, because I looked up when I typed it into Google. I said Oregon, Roseburg, expelled from city, because they said this guy was expelled from Roseburg, and I'm like, what the heck? That sounds like something from school, right? Like you get expelled for being a bad kid in school. But I looked it up, and it's called exclusion, not expelled. But anyways, yeah, I guess it's a thing. Like Roseburg, Medford, Eugene, Portland, Astoria, Bend, all these cities have these ordinances where they can list areas of their city. They call it like an enhanced enforcement area. And if you designate a part of your city, like say the downtown financial district, or like Bandon could designate like Old Town Bandon as like a area that you really want to protect. I don't know why you wouldn't want to protect the whole city, but maybe it's a legal thing. Anyway, so they designate this area of the city, and you can exclude people from it for 90 days if they're being like a repeat menace. Like you have to list all the crimes that fit into this, and then you have to spell it all out, probably legally, because it's a civil thing, and you have to give them an opportunity, kind of like a parking ticket, I guess, to appeal it and fight it in court or with a mediator. And then if they still don't listen, then it's criminal. Then it's a criminal trespass. So it's a civil tool they can use. Anyways, what do you guys think? I dropped that one on you late and sent you some links, but before we dig into it more than that, what are your thoughts?
My thoughts are the city of Coos Bay doesn't care, because I mentioned something somewhat similar to them at a city council meeting. I don't even know how long, a year ago. I don't know how long ago. Quite a while.
I think it was at the Egyptian Theater. It was during the town hall they had about, or Adam Palmer put it together, but it was the town hall for the Deborah Center.
Well, I might have mentioned it there, but I know I did it at a city council meeting, because everybody sat there and basically laughed at me.
They pretended like you were making something up.
Yeah.
And at least at the Egyptian Theater one, I remember when you said it, they acted like you were made something up. And then I believe I spoke up, or some other people did, and they were like, no, like we hear this on the scanner. Other cities have excluded people from their city. Like they're not allowed to go there.
Yeah.
So
It's crazy that they wouldn't know about that. Like it's your job to research how to do. I mean, it's a volunteer position, from what I understand, city council, but you would think that there would be some kind of like self-education on what your options are as a city councilor to kind of take care of some of the quality of life crime issues in your city.
Yeah, I mean, the police have to know about it.
And the other part that got me when I was reading through the Astoria one is they're going to set this ordinance up If somebody chooses to not obey it, they can end up getting arrested for trespass. And I've been told by Coos Bay that you can only give fines for city ordinance violations. So that's not true either. And it's being proven in other cities in Oregon. So it's not like they're having to follow different rules or something.
Yeah, I mean it's clearly happening in other cities. We hear it on the scanner all the time. I think I even heard Florence once. Um, and then when you look it up, I mean it's in the municipal code for these other cities. It's spelled out in its entirety. And there's even news articles, and a lot of them are recent. So this might be just kind of like a recent thing that they've been using, that cities have been using. But like this article from this past April, so just a few months ago, in a story, I'm trying to bring it up on the screen. But yeah, I mean, you can just Google search, Oregon civil exclusion zone, and you'll read all about it. You'll find news articles, you'll find city ordinances.
So it looks like this would be an ordinance that we would need. So it would have to be added to our ordinances, right? So each city would need to add it and the county would need to add it. And so that would be up to the city council to create this ordinance, and then it would be enforced through, I'm guessing, the planning department.
I don't even I think it's through the police department. I'm trying to read through this one while you but the one from Medford, I'm trying to get on the screen, specifically says that it's for the police to use. And it's similar to what they already do in Coos Bay. I mean, they exclude people from Mingus Park. I've been standing there with the police when they do this. They can trespass people from the city parks and things like that. So this essentially sets up a special zone that they can exclude somebody from a whole zone, as opposed to just like each property one by one. But yeah, like you said, it takes them having to make that effort and decide to do this and to put this ordinance out there. Why are we doing this research and not them is interesting to me too. I don't know. We don't always have to sit here and bash them, but come on, like it's simple as a Google search and then proposing it and, for discussion, and then following it up with some action. They have lawyers. They pay people to be able to research this for them.
Yeah.
Right.
The reading through them, you start seeing people, the people that are against it. Some of them mention, "Oh, you're just going after the homeless." Well, my first question is what is your view of homeless if you're thinking that they're just coming after the homeless? Are you thinking they're criminals? But why are you defending them if they're criminals?
And you can't just target them because they're homeless. They have to be homeless and.
But it's not even that. This isn't even a homeless problem. There's Peter
Right,
Parks,
exactly.
who is well known for shoplifting grocery carts full of stuff from stores all the time. And from everything I know of, he's always had a place to stay. So this would affect him. And he wouldn't be able to go anywhere near Walmart if he got excluded. And it's not a homeless thing. It's a crime thing. If homeless are committing crimes, which we know they are, they would be included. But they're not going to be the only ones. The guy at the corner of Libby and Shingle House, he steals stuff all the time from stores. He lives right there. He would be excluded. It's not a homeless thing.
Yeah, I haven't seen the word homeless at all anywhere in any of these ordinances. I don't even think it's been part of it's about crime.
Right.
And more specifically, it's about like repeat offenders, people who are just over and over. And there's a lot of them. And those are kind of the big problem ones that we have in town, especially Coquille. Coquille should really think about this, because they've got people that are being bounced from the jail and causing havoc right there in that kind of, maybe 4 or 5, 6 block radius of the jail, headed towards Coos Bay. Man, like what would it be like? Maybe that's why that area of town is run down, or at least part of the factor in it, because you're constantly dealing with it. I mean, the number of times I'll look at the police blotter or whatever, like the laundromat right there, right on Highway 42, is just like they get trespass after trespass after, criminal mischief, always having to deal with stuff, and it's always the same people. So I don't know. You've got a tool here that people can use, that city councils can use, and chief of police can propose this. It's interesting that they're not. And maybe it's part of the reason why we're getting so many. We have like a disproportionate number of these crimes happening in our area, and maybe this is part of it. Maybe because I'll hear on the scanner, Perry, you hear this too. Like they're here in our town because they've been excluded from somewhere else.
That's exactly. So there is a question. I was looking up some of the drawbacks on it, and there's limited evidence that they actually reduce crime long term. They just shift the issue to somewhere else. Which, what else? I mean, what else can you do? We are not in Sparta, and we can't throw these people off a cliff. So I don't like. It's almost like people are saying to us, you just have to live under constant terror. Like every single solution you put forward, it's like, well, this may infringe on their First Amendment rights. This may be a violation of due process. This may disproportionately affect marginalized communities. There's all of these caveats for, but what about these people? And there's very little regard for the average person that just wants to live their life in peace. And that has always struck me with this dynamic of how do you take on crime.
Well, what about our First Amendment right to like have the discussion? I mean, granted, we're having it here, but this is not going to be as productive as maybe a conversation being had at a city council meeting
where they're not allowing conversations to happen.
Right. I mean, they don't have to enact the ordinance, but why aren't they having these discussions? And I guess, correct me if I'm wrong, any city councilor in Coos County, if this has actually been proposed and discussed at a city council meeting, I haven't heard of it. That would be interesting to know, but this is the sort of research and creativity that you would expect from a city council.
It is, and we want to hear solutions. We want to hear this stuff. I am constantly seeing our local leaders taking selfies, all proud of themselves. Fun, but I don't care. I don't mean to be rude, like go enjoy your life, but that's not relevant to me. I want to see, there's a lot of fluff. They talk about reach and how hard it is to reach people with information. We see the posts on Facebook, so why isn't the city council having like updates on Facebook, putting out posts, there's so many ways to reach people. If they are having these conversations, why not share? Hey, we discussed this. We ran into some roadblocks here. This great idea turned out to not be workable for this reason. But there's no communication, so we're left to assume. And then people get offended, like, well, you just assume we do nothing. Prove to me I'm wrong.
Yeah.
It's actions. You have to see
exactly
what their actions are. And their actions are proving exactly who they are. They don't care about the crime. They don't care about the homeless problem. The actual true criminal homeless that everybody sees on this, they don't care. They'll give some people a place to stay, but that's only a few people, and I don't even know how successful it is, but it's not helping the major problem.
I listened to the scanner probably for 3 hours, and I haven't listened to the scanner in a while because of exactly this. It was like 3 hours, and I'm like, I can't do it. I had to shut it off. I mean, I could tell you guys story after story, but it's so Melissa Lucas, she's a constant problem in our area. She is addicted. She does drugs. She's probably got multiple mental disorders. Who knows if it's because of the drugs or if they were there before? I don't know. But if you run into her, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. So she comes up on the scanner because there's a report that from a neighbor that somebody's going through mail. So they show up. It's Melissa Lucas, and she's being combative. She won't listen, and she's holding a beer. And they check to see if part of her probation, because she's on probation, if she is not supposed to be drinking. And dispatch says, no, she not supposed to be having anything like that. So the officer tells her to pour it out. She refuses. So they call her probation officer. And while they're waiting to contact the probation officer, she wants to go to Salvation Army. So he gives her a courtesy ride to Salvation Army. I guess they have some services for her. And in the meantime, the probation officer says, yes, they'll put a detention holder on her, but only if the jail will actually take her and keep her at the jail. So the officer says, look, I'm not waiting for the jail. You could tell that he was annoyed that it's conditional, and he just had to deal with her, and she's looking through people's mail and drinking, anyways. So he just takes her to Salvation Army and drops her off, and then dispatch a couple minutes later updates him that the jail would not be taking her. So, and you could tell he knew that was going to happen, because he just said, I'm dropping her off at Salvation Army, and if the jail wants to take her, I'll go back and get her. And he just dropped her off. So it's so I guess she just does whatever she wants.
Yeah.
And either she's doing it because she wants to, or she's a total lunatic, crazy person, high on drugs or drunk off beer, and she's not in control of her actions. But either or, that's just Coos Bay. That no biggie, nothing, no consequences, absolutely nothing. We're going to give you a ride to Salvation Army, and maybe that'll help. And if you know anything about this particular person, that's not going to help. And just it's story after story after story like that. I mean,
Right.
And she's one of them that would fall into this. Every city in Coos Bay should be excluding her from the city. I mean, it would only take a few months and she would be excluded.
It's going to take a multi-pronged approach to lower our crime. First of all, services have to go away. And that is going to be a massive hurdle, because so many people's ego is tied around, I'm a good person because I do for these people who need. So until that changes and living feral isn't an option, the jail needs to be refunded with prosecution, and instituting something like this that runs people out. If they can't conform to our social, what do you call that when it's antisocial behaviors, right? We have a way to basically bother people until it's just not worth it for them to live here. Implementing that a systemic solution like that, we would see numbers drop within weeks. People would be leaving Coos County. The problem people.
Yeah, at least
why they don't do it? Sorry, Perry, go ahead.
Oh, just at least the ones that aren't from here, which are quite a few.
There's a lot of people that are, maybe not from here, but have moved here and lived here for some time. If life here was not easy anymore, they'd relocate too.
Yeah.
They'd go somewhere else.
Well, how many years now have we been promised a sobering center, and they got this opioid settlement money? I believe the city of Coos Bay gets somewhere in the realm of $300,000. Or no, I think it was they got $300,000 up front and then $100,000 every year after, something like that. But it's a decent amount of money, and they were donating it to do the sobering center for Coos County. And I remember Gabe, I was in a meeting where I heard about this, and I asked Gabe afterwards in a private meeting, like, is it really going to happen in 6 months? Like, is that real? Because that's what I was being told. And he goes, yep. And I'm like, are you sure? Because like a government 6 months ends up being like a lot longer. And he goes, no, it's a thing. And then 6 months later, I asked him, like, what's the status? And he says, well, we're about 6 months away from it. And it's like, well, that was a year ago. and
Right.
now I hear nothing about it. And Melissa Lucas, the story I just told, what she should have gone to a sobering center. And
They can't. I think Gabe said they can commit them. Yeah, they can make them go in. There was some misunderstanding whether it was purely voluntary commitment or whether they could be committed to it. And I want to say Gabe clarified that they can commit people to it.
and then you mentioned not having services. Yeah, it's like, so the police officer had an out. He was able to take her to the Salvation Army. And it's like, what if he didn't have that out? What if he didn't have anywhere to take her? He might have been a little more pissed off with the parole officer and the jail saying, hey, look, she's terrorizing my neighborhood.
The thing
we don't want her here.
With state services, for people to get the real help that they need, they have to take some responsibility and accountability, and they have to give up things like getting high. Like, they have to stop living the life that they're living and go into actual treatment, and they don't want to do it. So by helping them, people are giving them an alternative to treatment that will actually turn them into a self-sustaining person again. I wish people could understand that they are doing these people a grave disservice by continuing to enable them living on the street. There is treatment. They just have to be willing to go into it or have to be committed to it. I don't see this problem going away until we are committing people and requiring self-sustaining behaviors.
Mm-hmm.
All rights and no responsibility.
But
Harry, what do you think about like ownership? Like I just mentioned, like what if the cop said, like, to the jail, hey, I don't want her in my neighborhood terrorizing my neighborhood. But it's like, do you think the police around here take ownership and like think of it as like their neighborhood? And I'll probably get slack for even questioning that. But I just don't always get the feeling that they do have a sense of ownership over.
I've heard some be okay with a book and release, as in it's a way to get them out of the situation, and hopefully them having to figure out how to get back and all of that will change their attitude a little bit. Him taking her to the Salvation Army, I can only assume that was done because, hey, it's going to get her out of the neighborhood. It'll help maybe. But then I've heard a sergeant not want to go onto the Vega property and tell the people under him, you don't have to go. No, we're not going to be going in there because there's campers right now. So I think it's a little mixed bag of people.
Where do we think we go from here? Like we're talking about it. We have this idea. We think it would work. Like, what should we do? What should we suggest other people do? Like, should we write this all up and like send it in an email? Should it be like a 3-minute comment thing at a public meeting?
People have to, that's the only way. These people in power right now are so sure they're right. I had someone write to me today, ask me if I read. I don't know. I have a master's degree from Columbia University and graduated with a 3.9. What do you think? That is how sure people are that they're right. That if you have a different opinion, you must just be stupid. And that's how a lot of people in power think right now, because our system has enabled, everything except meritocracy. And so this is what you get. That and our horrible voter turnouts. I mean, I don't know how committed I am to sitting down to write an email when 75% of this county can't be bothered to vote. I'm gonna sit here and talk shit, but like the work I'm willing to do as a civilian is dwindling. I think we need to put our names on the ballot over and over and over again and keep trying to replace these people. Every single person who wants to leave a spicy comment on Facebook, if you didn't vote or aren't willing to put your name on the ballot, like, I'm sorry, but you're worse than the people in power that are making these bad decisions. And if that offends you, it's probably meant for you. And I would say it to somebody's face too. I am so sick of people, the apathy. Like, maybe it's not apathy. Sorry, I'm on a little bit of a rant here. You know, just the unwillingness to take accountability for like one's own life situation. Oh, you don't like the government? Well, if you didn't vote, it's your own fault. You don't like the system? Well, if you're not willing to put your name on a ballot, it's kind of your own fault. So, and like, I know that people are in different circumstances and can't necessarily quit their job to run for office or something like that. But I know that it's not 75% of them that are in that situation that's what kept them from casting a vote. I mean, they're mailed to you. Like, what more do you
That
need?
is pretty crazy if they're mailed.
Dude, fuck
Yeah,
around. Like, they're mailed to you. And Marcia Jensen is
that hard.
still on the college board supporting hiring that sex offender at SWAC, proctoring exams for teenage girls, and 75% of you couldn't show up to vote her off. Get that, you know,
I was just thinking about her yesterday about like the attitude she gave me during forums
it's
and at some of
nasty.
the public meetings. Like to her, she knew nothing about me except that I was frustrated and upset about a sex offender teaching minors at the college.
Right?
That's all she knew about me, and that I was passionate enough about it to show up and speak my mind. And that in her mind made me a bad person. I'm just a disgusting, despicable, horrible individual. But a teacher, he was a teacher in Eugene, I believe it was Eugene,
High school teacher.
high school teacher molesting his students. Not a horrible person. No, not a horrible person. He deserves second chances. He's a damn good person, deserves defending. But Chris Castleman showing up and being upset about that, horrible person. Bad, disgusting, evil individual. Is that not insane? It
Well,
just
and-
like hit me
Yeah,
out of
it is,
nowhere
like,
the other
it's
day
actually
thinking about
insane.
that.
And the people that aren't voting, that is what they're endorsing.
Yep.
They might
Yep.
say they're not voting for whatever reason. Whatever the turnout is, that's what they're endorsing.
Yep.
Plain and simple.
And not choosing is a choice. Not choosing is making a choice. If you choose to not participate, then you choose to enable the status quo. And fuck everyone who goes on Facebook and bitches about the system and then doesn't lift a finger, bitches about society, bitches about people, and then steps out and says, oh, I don't get involved in politics.
Well, let's think of a way to give them an easy way to get involved. And I know that their ballots are mailed to them, but like, okay, so say, you know, this exclusion policy that we've researched, do a little more research, put it into an article, so it's all there. It explains the problem, shows how other cities have solved it, and give them a template. Part of the code that they could change or update, because they do have Coos Bay does have this as part of their municipal code. Where is it?
Chris, I think if we do that and go about educating people about it, addressing the drawbacks is going to be really important, because we really need to address things like the ethical questions of who owns public spaces. Like, who has a right to public spaces? And, these kind of like larger questions of policing discretion. Is it going to be enforced fairly? Like, we do have to address some legitimate concerns with the potential for draconian overreach.
Well, let's just see if we can even get a conversation started. I think there's 7 municipalities in Coos County. So let's see if 1 out of the 7 would even take this up. Lakeside might be a great one to start because it's well, no, they don't have police officers. Damn it. I wonder who would have the power to do that. Anyways, if I write this up and put it out there and send it off to all the city councilors, the mayors, and the police chiefs and all the cities in Coos County, and put it online and ask people, so this is where people can get involved. If I put it out online and say, don't comment on this. I mean, you can, but like, don't just comment on it. Comment on this, but then also take one of these actions and maybe give them a phone number or an email for a police chief or for the city council in their city and tell them to start getting involved and start petitioning their city councils. But maybe this isn't an issue in Powers. Maybe they don't have repeat offenders and it's not really an issue. But I believe Coquille could benefit from this with them getting all the bullshit coming out of the jail. And North Bend and Coos Bay certainly could. Bandon probably as well.
Coquille City Council would probably hear us. They're pretty reasonable, a reasonable group. And they're very open to solutions.
What do you think, Perry? Do you think other people, instead of writing a Facebook comment, do you think people would take that next step and bring this up with an actual person that might be able to do something about it? Or are people just stuck on social media?
And most are just stuck on social media. Most just want to be left alone, and we got to get them out of that rut somehow. I don't know how.
It's just wild to me seeing all these people demanding to see the Epstein files. Why the fuck you give a fuck about Epstein when you don't even care enough about the sexual predator at your own community college to cast a vote to get rid of the person who wants to keep him there? Like,
I think there's some overlap. I would think that the people who are pissed off about the Epstein are probably the same people who did not vote for Marsha Jensen to stay on the SWAT board and hide the Curtis Buell files. Right? I still don't have any documents from the college on any of this stuff from Curtis Buell. They will not give anything.
The only way that we were able to find out that there for sure were complaints against him that they buried were from whistleblower documents, right?
Yep. And they called me dishonest.
That's so disgusting.
And it really is. It really is the fact that they want to paint me as some horrible, nasty person.
Yeah.
But someone who gave oral sex to one of their students as a high school teacher is not a vile person.
In the school.
Definitely someone you want around.
During class, turn the lights off and did it in the gym. Like, I don't understand how people cannot care about that. Like, that should be such a slam dunk. I mean, what do people need to be motivated? If that's not enough, I mean, maybe it's reach and we just don't. I mean, I know we don't reach that many people. And so maybe
there's no coordination from our side. Like, we lean libertarian conservative, right? So there's no organization around here that's organizing around that and helping with elections to get people that have that mindset elected into office. And then once they're in office, there's no support system for them either.
Right.
They have to build it all on their own. So there's definitely reasons why this area is the way it is. And we've got we're working on a lot of them, but I don't know. I'm just, there's long-term wins and solutions, and then there's some short-term things. Like, I think this could be a short-term thing. You would think that somebody in the near future would take this up at a city council meeting, but
Well,
I don't know.
and
Go
so
ahead, Barry.
we kind of started this thing looking for solutions, and it takes a long time to find anything that's possible that might work, especially when it's only a couple people trying to do it, trying to figure it out. But now we've found this, and we found that having game cameras on private property, if you put forth effort, you can keep homeless from camping on your property. If these were actually implemented, can you imagine having the homeless not up there hiding in the woods doing whatever the hell they want all day, every day, having them out in the public's eye instead, and then having this also, where if they're committing these crimes, they're told to leave the area? That would make a huge difference. But we
Yes,
need the
it would.
landowners to start caring and the city to start caring. And that's hard. We have the solutions, I think, but having people actually.
I mean, we've definitely found a template. I mean, putting up those game cameras, the cellular trail cameras. So right onto my phone immediately when someone walks past it, I've got a video on my phone within seconds, and I can hustle on over there and say, yo, no, this is not the place to be. You're not allowed here. Get out of here. I don't have to waste police resources, and I didn't give them the opportunity to set up an established camp. They're not squatters. They're just trespassers, and it's less confrontational because they haven't set up a home. They don't think it's theirs. They just go somewhere else. It's been a win for that area that's been happening.
I'm
near where
super
I live.
paranoid now. If I have to get out of my car on the side of the road to like take a quick tinkle, I'm always paranoid now. There's going to be a satellite camera.
That we don't have that many up yet, but no, seriously, it worked. And for the couple years that I've been working on this, trying to figure out something, make some progress, I've never cleaned up a camp. I mean, no, I can't say that. Like, I've helped the police clean up a camp. I've done it in certain circumstances, but I've always felt very conflicted about it because why are we cleaning this up if there's not going to be an actual solution? Like, you're kind of hiding the problem, and you're wasting
That's a
your
good
time,
explanation.
and you're making it nice for them to come back and set up another camp and destroy it all over again.
That's a
So
good point.
I've never felt inclined to really clean up any area because to me, you're really making it look like there's no problem. Anyways, I started cleaning up some of these camps this week, the woods that Perry and I have been like focusing on. And I was like, what am I doing? And it was like, because it felt that we went there a few days ago. We hadn't seen anybody on the cam for a long time, and the batteries had even gone dead, and I didn't even feel the need to go and change them because I felt that the problem had been solved. We went down there. It looked like it had absolutely been solved because the forest was overtaking the trails again. It had been that long since somebody had been there. It was overgrown. And so anyways, I started cleaning it up because I'm like, hey, this garbage doesn't belong here, and this should permanently be a nice place again and be cleaned up. And
Have you
how
coordinated
cool
with
is that
OBAB
to
at
like
all?
finally? No, this isn't that big of enough of a place, but I appreciate that those guys, the OBAB gals and guys, go out there and do that. But for me, I'm really conflicted on, like, to me, it's like, are you hiding the problem? Like, if you're cleaning up John Toppit's Park, yes, that's nice. But like, if you constantly have to go in there and clean it up, then in a way, you're kind of enabling them. And I don't mean that as like that anyone's doing anything bad on purpose. It's just like the end result, when you come out on the end, like looking at it, it's like, yes, you're making the park look nice, but there's also collateral damage in the sense that, like, well, then when people go to the park, they don't see an issue, even though there are people living in the park. There are absolutely people camping in the park. They just get moved around. It gets cleaned up. They come back. Perry, what do you think about all this?
Oh, the cleaning part. I don't even know what to say about it. You'll always have people cleaning up after them. That's something that'll never change. Because once again, the homeless are treated differently than the rest of us are. The homeless are allowed to live however they choose, while
Which
you
is
don't
why
allow
they
your
do.
neighbor to do anything. It's a joke. It's the people that are doing it don't understand it, and they feel like they have the right to treat people of different classes in different ways, and the hypocrisy out of them is ridiculous. And yeah, I'm completely fed up with it, especially the fact that they don't even care what they're doing.
If I had the time and passion, it would be interesting to go down and camp on some mayor or city of Coos Bay city council person's, sidewalk and just be a total bum.
See how
And
long that
when
lasts.
I get moved along, I'll just go to the next city council person's neighborhood. Um, I don't know.
That's
I wish we had
honestly,
a group that could do that, like a whole sit-in. So that
that's what
we all
protesters should do. That's why I have no
really.
respect for protesters, because they terrorize the average American citizen. Go sit on the governor's lawn. Go sit on your congressperson's lawn. Go sit on your mayor's lawn. Go sit on Capitol Hill. Go bother the people that are making the rules if you don't like the rules. But what they do, because they're narcissistic children who have no boundaries or respect for others, they terrorize just average citizens who are like trying to get back and forth to work. And that is why I just have completely lost respect for them. Go to the problem.
Or we could bring the problem to them, but I don't know how that would go over. How would the optics of that be? Like,
I don't
because
want to go
then
to
we're
jail, man.
purposely being a nuisance. You won't. There's only 11 jail cells for girls, and
That's
they're
true.
full. So
That's
And you
true.
wouldn't win
Yeah.
that one because they would just have the police there right away, and you wouldn't even be
Yeah.
able to have time to spread your garbage out and do all that, and they would know it's you, so they would be able to 100% say, hey, yeah, this is you. You're getting all these different charges because we know it's you. Out in the woods,
Yep.
they can use the excuse, oh, well, we don't know it was this person that did it,
Yep.
even though they know. So it's, even though it's a great idea, it's still pointless because it doesn't, that's not what real life is like.
We should set up like a bum camp drop zone. So instead of just cleaning it up and taking it to the dump, like you can just relocate it. You can take the bum camp and leave it on, uh, the mayor's front lawn, so he can deal with it and see what it's like. He can smell it. I don't know. I feel like Brandy said about the protesters. Like, where are the good old fashioned protests like that? What was it? Occupy Wall Street. They like literally set up, and like I remember I was in Buffalo, New York at the time, and they set up outside City Hall for months and months
Dude, New
in
Yorkers were
winter.
not having it. New Yorkers were like, get these scumbags the fuck out of here. And they did. They came in the middle of the night and rounded them up. They put up big sheets of plywood
Oh
so
wow!
the press couldn't see what they were doing. And they put them all in zip ties and drug them all out in the middle of the night. And every New Yorker cheered. New Yorkers are hustlers. They don't have any time for that bullshit. They don't care. They're on their grind, making their living and like succeeding. And like, I think a bunch of bums from outside New York thought that they would come and F around, and they found out that was, New York City of a different day and age where people were a little tougher. New York has
And
definitely
East Coast
changed.
mentality is definitely different. What's up, Perry?
really, the mayor and councilors, the city property is theirs. It's theirs just like their house is theirs. They're supposed to take care of it. And there shouldn't be a difference. They should view it exactly the same. The mess that's in John Toppet's should be seen exactly as their yard. So yeah, they should be okay with having that much garbage in their yard. But they're not.
Yeah, it would be dealt with immediately. But I don't know. I don't know what gives, but I'm gonna try and write this up as a little article and see if that helps people. Like give them a template, give them a starting point. I mean, I don't know why they can't do this on their own, but they don't. But maybe they have to be shown the way.
And I already got on to this Tuesday about it. About how.
Oh yeah, you said did you
last
send him an
week.
email or?
Yeah.
Okay. What was you had oh, you had public comment from North Bend because they were they got all this money to do a new tourism center in the middle of the city. What was that about, Perry?
Oh yeah, I don't know even what happened with that. So coincidentally, this little rest area, which now I guess Coos Bay and North Bend needs a rest area. I don't know, that you can do stuff with your bicycle and make repairs and have Wi-Fi and all kinds of curiously specific things that you can have going that they'll have. Just so happens to border right there at two places where it's legal to camp in North Bend. Sure, that's just a coincidence, but just to make sure, I wanted to ask what guarantees the North Bend has that that's not going to be overtaken by the criminal homeless like other places in the past has been.
Or like the boardwalk in North Bend.
Right. And I mean, it's just done where they're allowed to be. They just end up taking over, and this is supposed to be for everybody. It's not portrayed as a homeless anything. Well, okay, then let's not have them take it over. Let's make sure everybody that comes there feels safe, because they can say there's no crime there, but the little old ladies don't ever go there because they don't feel safe, with obvious reasons why. And so just because there's no crime, you need everybody to be able to feel safe too. And,
Well, yeah, they need to have a plan for it's going to happen. It's inevitable that they'll come there and start congregating and causing a problem.
when you have all
So-
those extra little amenities that are tailor made for what the homeless want, they're going to come there and they're going to destroy the place. They're going to, I mean, you see it. And of course, it's the criminal element, but that's all we see. You don't see the other homeless. And those criminal homeless will
How
come
do you-
in and will destroy the place.
Yeah, right. Like how do you draw the line between like, okay, like right, if you have benches, like okay, you're allowed to sit on a bench. We like want people to have to sit on benches in a park, right? Like we all envision going to the park and seeing a lot of people enjoying it, sitting at the benches and stuff. But then like what happens when someone's there for like the entire day and they smell like piss?
And there's no
there's
other
garbage
benches to
around
sit
them.
on anymore because they're all taken all day.
Yeah. That's tough. But if there's an overlap where the type of people who are doing that are also chronic criminals, then you deal with it on a criminal level, and maybe those people won't be around as much. And then every city is going to have that smelly homeless person that the only crime in life they've ever done is just not having a home, which isn't a crime. I mean that happens, but like the amount of them we have, these are not just people who like lost their home in a fire 10 years ago. That's not what we have. We're dealing with people who either have addiction or they're just assholes and they don't want to follow society's rules. They all have a story.
It's
Perfect example.
Go ahead, Perry.
Well, just Mingus Park's a perfect example.
Mm.
That's exactly what
Well,
happened when they're given.
When I filmed it and they were saying that they don't have to leave because it says first come, first serve.
Yep.
And then, I didn't even post the longer version of that video where like the one girl, she's sitting on the ground, there's garbage everywhere. And they're like, why are you filming? And I'm like, well, because there's garbage everywhere. You're destroying this pavilion. And I got talking with her and asked her, like, why are you, are you from here? She's like, no, I'm from, I think it was Roseburg. And I'm like, well, why are you here? And she said her boyfriend got caught up with some criminal thing, and he has court hearings, and now he's in jail, and so she's stuck. And their whole plan was to just come here and live in the woods because somebody told them that was okay. It's just like, that's crazy.
It is crazy.
That's not okay.
And this is, if we want to point to the root cause, because a lot of people want to point to wage gaps between the very rich and the very poor. And don't get me wrong, there's definitely economic problems, but this is a consequence of deinstitutionalization. This is straight up, we are living in the results of closing our mental hospitals, having those people end up on the streets, increased incarceration, and now we have a shortage of inpatient beds and nowhere for these people to go. Our leaders did this, hands down. This is not an economic capitalism destroyed society. This is our politicians decided to let everyone out of the mental institutions and onto our city streets and said, your problem, here's no money to take care of it. And
You
what
said
they did with
deinstitutionalized, and I feel like I would take it even a step higher and say like destabilized, because it's not just like institutionals. It's like the family unit, right? They destabilize the family unit.
Absolutely.
We've got way more powerful drugs now, so that's destabilized. And like you said, lack of actual mental health facilities and mental health care, that's destabilizing.
This stuff is very, let's just say,
the
like,
economy,
make a point though.
even
mental health care is extremely, what's the right word? Complex and requires an enormous amount of education and skill to deliver. So when they deinstitutionalized all of these state facilities that could attract that labor pool that were located in larger metropolitans and sent all of these mentally ill people, basically bust them into rural communities, there's no community support. Our communities don't have mental institutions. They don't have staff that's trained to deal with severely mentally ill, drug addicted people. And as soon as a mentally ill person is released, if they don't have a family support system, they're going to end up on drugs. And I cannot stress enough that our leaders and bad public policy did this. And I'll go toe to toe with anyone that wants to disagree. And we can start pulling literature and we can comb through all the data and use regression to really filter out the bullshit, because there is a lot of that.
Anyone that's out there and deals with these criminal homeless that we have, they know what's going on, and you can tell the difference between somebody who's sitting on the couch making ignorant assumptions compared to the people that are out there and see what's going on.
You sure can.
If there's any law enforcement people, or if anybody who knows anyone in law enforcement, please tell them to speak out and start publicly speaking out about this.
I know.
They're the ones who know. They're dealing with this bullshit all day long. Every day.
I don't know why more of them are not. There has to be.
Their job
career to them.
I mean, maybe it is like they must have the freedom of speech to speak vaguely on what they're seeing.
And they can get hired for one tiny little stupid rule they might have broken too.
Right, saying the wrong little thing. It's crazy that you can like throw crap at someone and get a cop. Like the fact that guy threw his feces in that cop's face and the cop beat his ass for it and the cop got fired. Like, yeah, I think you should have better emotional control than that, to not lose your emotions, lose control and attack someone. But at the same time, he threw shit in his face, dude. Like,
I was like Douglas County Jail or something.
I can't think of a more appropriate reason to get your ass beat than throwing your dude in someone's face. Dude deserved to be whooped. Like, at what point? I don't know, man. At what point do we just say that? I'm sorry, man. That was gonna happen. Like, we gotta stop letting people just be absolute monsters.
I think you can blame lawyers for that one. I would
Yeah.
imagine if they covered it up, or just let it go, they'd be nervous. Maybe 50 years
Yeah.
ago it would have been totally fine, but nowadays, the jail would be sued. They wouldn't be
I
able to
really
function.
blame the people that make excuses for criminal and antisocial behavior. Stop making excuses. There is no excuse for it. It's just not okay. I don't know how to get through to people that just don't have or like Perry said, they're living on the couch and getting all of their information spoon-fed to them by Tina Kotex and Jeffrey Merkley. And
I think
aren't
the
out there
number of
actually
those
seeing
people
it.
is fairly small, but the concentration of them that vote is high. So
Yes.
I think we can get all the other people that
Yes.
have common sense and get it. We just have to convince them and encourage them that there's a path forward as long as we get a little civil engagement going.
I
and
can
get involved.
guarantee
So
that lady from that video I posted earlier today talking about how 4-year-olds should be exposed to adult sexuality, she votes.
Oh,
yeah, they all do.
Like, so if you don't vote, you're basically handing your power over to people like that. And you're saying, I trust you to make the decisions on my behalf.
I think anybody watching this, or I would hope anybody watching this, votes and
I know our
probably
viewers
votes
are,
for similar people that we would. So we've got to find a way to get the people who aren't involved, and they shouldn't have to be involved. Like, they really shouldn't.
I
We should
know.
be able to trust that our leaders are making simple, common sense sort of decisions like this, and that they're solution oriented and going out looking at what other cities are doing to solve problems like the civil exclusion policies, but they're just not. So there's going to be a period of time where they have to get more involved, and then I think if there's a course correction, they can maybe back off a little bit. But there has to be, your hair is just wonderful. That's just flowing in the breeze. I love that. But yeah, I don't know, right? Like, do they always have to be involved? I guess, come on, all we're
Just
asking is
vote,
people,
man.
you learn about who's on the ballot and then you make a decision. Like, that's really not that hard, and it's at most twice a year.
mhm.
And again, like you said, Chris, the people that are watching our show are not are probably pretty active, but I think maybe letting people know that you don't have to mark every box. If there's a portion of the ballot that you're just not sure about, or a group of people you're just not sure about, you can mark the people you are sure about, and your votes will be counted for those. You don't have to fill out your whole ballot for it to be valid. I hope people know that as well.
Dogs barking. Well, if people want to get involved on a party level, there's the Republican Party meeting next Thursday at 6 p.m. at Cozy Kitchen in Myrtle Point. If people want to get involved with organizing the conservative movement. If you're a liberal and you want to organize the liberal movement, well, it's already organized for you. You don't have to do anything. They're doing a great job. They're winning.
Pretty active.
But if you're of the conservative variety, or even if you're libertarian leaning,
if you're a person
think
who
we'd be
knows what a
welcoming to that.
woman is, please put your name on the ballot and run for office. We need people like you.
We need to keep
For
people
sure.
who tell the Republican Party to quit hiding.
Yeah, hiding their meetings at Cozy
That's all
Kitchen,
they're
Myrtle
doing.
Point.
You know what? If I was as
Hiding.
incompetent as they are, I would hide too. I'd be embarrassed too.
Yeah.
They're nothing but cowards.
I don't think they're embarrassed. I think they're just power hungry, and they have power, and they're doing everything to hold on to it. But
Yep. That's exactly what it is.
anyways, I guess we're
Too
power
bad.
hungry because we're trying to take it from them, right? We're
I want to
power
give it to other
hungry.
people.
Yeah, I
Give
don't
it to
need it.
every, just more people with diverse ideas. I want more diversity in leadership. And since I'm not a racist, I don't look for diversity in skin color. I look for diversity in perspectives, knowledge, ideas,
What a concept.
right?
That's something our local Republican Party doesn't believe in. Get in line and shut up.
Especially you, Perry.
Yep.
I think both of
You're
us.
We're troublemakers. Damn it, we passed the hour mark. Damn it. Damn it.
No, we came on a little late. We're good to go. We're just like a
No,
minute
there's
over.
a
We're right
timer,
on the
and
hour.
it says it's right here.
Oh.
I don't think you guys can see it, but it's on my screen. It says 1 hour and 1 minute.
Oh.
Anyways, I'm good because we're at the hour mark. What do you guys do you have any other thoughts? Anything else happening in the area this past week? Anything you're looking forward to? The fair?
Talk to your friends about voting while you're camping this summer.
There you go.
Tell your friends that if they don't vote, they're deferring their vote to a person who thinks that 4-year-olds should be taught what sex is and that men can become women by putting on dresses and having a feeling. Tell them that's you're giving your vote to those people because those people vote. So threaten them, scare them. I don't know what we got to do because appealing to logic clearly isn't working.
No,
It's crazy. What about you, Perry?
I don't know. I never know what's coming up. I'm always out doing something, but don't ever plan anything.
I think I'm gonna move some of my cameras to a new location and see if we can do it again. I think that in the next week or two, that's kind of my goal. But you gonna go to the fair? Anybody? Coos County Fair
yeah.
next week?
Yeah,
All right.
probably
Every
better do
year.
it.
Get some corn dogs and funnel cake.
Yeah.
Scones.
Scones. All right.
Scones and giant hot dogs.
Do you guys do the rides? I can't go in a circle too many times. I get sick, like very sick.
I used to all
I'm not
the
putting
time.
my life in the hands of a carny.
I don't know what this comment is, but Jeff says that.
So I made Rocky Mountain oysters last night here
All
at
right.
home. And
What
I
is
put
a
a
Rocky
video of
Mountain
it on.
oyster?
It's a testicle.
Could have given you some.
Oh,
It's a ball. We
Of
kept
what?
them from all of our deer and elk and stuff, and I battered them and fried them in beef tallow last night. They were delicious. They were like little tiny pieces of veal tenderloin.
never thought I'd be on a live stream talking about eating a ball sack in my
Just
entire
saying.
life.
Dudes
But
are
I
walking
brought
around
the
with a
comment
couple
on
of little
screen, and I
tenderloins
asked the question.
hanging down there.
Oh my-
Yeah.
Well, I haven't eaten dinner yet, and now I'm not hungry.
Mhm.
Dude, I breaded them in that Red Lobster. I bought the gluten-free, so it's rice flour, Red Lobster biscuit mix, and put the season, a little bit of seasoning and stuff in it, and then battered them and fried them on low, nice and low on that with some really good beef tallow. And man, they were like little tenderloin Wellingtons.
Well, if anyone was confused watching this and they're like, are these people really from like rural Oregon? Yes. Brandi is rural Oregon now. She's not a New Yorker. No more.
I would have done that kind of stuff in New York. I ate way grosser stuff in New York.
Oh,
I lived in Flushing, dude. I ate stuff that humans probably aren't supposed to.
Yeah. Yep, I sure did.
Yeah.
Oh boy. All right. Well, anything else from the peanut gallery? Peanut, get it? Anyways. All right. Well, we'll see you guys next week, and appreciate everybody who watches and comments. We'll try and be productive and get something out of this, even though Phil Taylor is the only one who's in elected office. So maybe we should get him on here to do an update on the CCAT. He just got signed in. Congrats, Phil. Pretty cool, man.
I think we should put together a voter rally, like like
Get out
just
the vote.
yeah. Like I keep thinking back to Diddy's Vote or Die, and in hindsight, that's kind
When the
of
election
horrifying.
what is it, next spring primary is the big one. So
Yep.
we'll definitely have to do something.
May.
I want to do an in-person voting. I want to hold like a actual in-person voting at a precinct. There's nothing
That would
prohibiting
be
us from doing
cool.
it.
That would be really cool. Do it at the Coquille Courthouse.
Yep. Somewhere.
That would be
Be
cool.
a rally / in-person voting kind of shindig. Maybe we can have food if it's legal. Have like a pot. That might be
Yeah.
like bribery. I don't know. Come on down and try our Rocky Mountain testicles things.
I can make a testicle chili. I can
Oh,
make a
boy.
Rocky Mountain chili.
I'm hitting end live stream in 5. I'll see you guys.